Right, I'm going to speak about the incredible benefits of vitamin C. This information is not medical advice, it's just from my research. So our bodies cannot make vitamin C, although most animals can. We must get it from our food and from supplements. But how much do we really need? Now, persistent arguments on this question may be settled by looking at how much vitamin C animals manufacture in their bodies. And the answer is quite a lot. Now, most animals make the human body weight equivalent to around 5 to 10,000 milligrams a day. It is unlikely that animals would have evolved to make this much vitamin C if they did not need it and use it. Now, the UK RDA recommended daily allowance, should be called the recommended death allowance, for vitamin C is 40 milligrams, which is unbelievably low. It might just prevent scurvy and that's about it. Now, our inability to synthesize vitamin C is absolutely huge. Now, in a large population study at Cambridge University, for example, they support the conclusion that much of the illnesses seen in our sickly population is related to how low our vitamin C levels are in the blood. The Cambridge study also showed that individuals with the highest blood levels of vitamin C at nearly half the death rate of those with the lowest levels from all causes of mortality. So in other words, high vitamin C levels slash the number of deaths from cancer, heart disease and other infectious diseases, things like kidney disease as well and liver failure, also through to brain diseases and also all cancers, I've said, but nearly 50%. Imagine if a medication could do that, it would be a bestseller. In one study, researchers examined vitamin C blood levels and their relationships with patients' health. And the study involved 948 randomly selected healthy men and women, aged between 53 and 84, whose blood was collected in 1999 to 2000. Subjects were closely followed for the next 16 years and their health was tracked. Now, what the study showed was that the people whose 16-year-old blood samples contained the highest levels of vitamin C then had significantly lower risks of dying. The differences were actually quite dramatic. Those in the highest quartile of baseline blood vitamin C levels were 25% less likely to die than those in the lowest quartile. Now, finally then, when the researchers analyzed the data by disease type, they found that those in the top quartile of blood vitamin C levels in the 1999-2000 had a lower risk for both heart disease and also cancer deaths 16 years later. One fact then that all doctors and all laypersons agree on is that a strong immune system is key to recovering from infection, neutralizing and eliminating toxins, bringing a disease cells back to a state of good health. There is also no dispute that a competent immune system is also the best way to keep a disease-free body from developing diseases and taking hold in the first place, especially cancer, cancer in my opinion could be considered as a disease of immune insufficiency. It is very difficult to get cancer if the immune system is healthy, full stop. So vitamin C and its connection to the immune system then. So in addition to its role as one of the premier antioxidants circulating throughout our body, the scientific literature has clearly established vitamin C to directly promote and stimulate a number of very important functions of the immune system. Now, these functions include the following: enhance antibody production, enhance interferon production, enhance phagocytic function, which is eating microbes, enhance T and lymphocyte function, enhance B lymphocyte function, and also then enhance natural killer cell activity. And it's a plethora more of other activities. Those are some. Now, why then does the immune system depend on vitamin C? And one of the most important functions of vitamin C is to support and energize the body's immune system. Now, immune cells, they actually have vitamin C transporter molecules embedded into their membranes that actively pump the vitamin into the cells when more vitamin C is required. And for example, during times of inflammation and infection, those transporters will ramp up their activity to provide sufficient vitamin C to the cell's inner workings, causing those cells to attain levels up to 100-fold that of the plasma level. Now, this is why blood levels of vitamin C will drop during times of disease and especially infections. So this can create a potentially vicious cycle, so in which just when you need extra vitamin C, your body stores are now depleted. This also makes it especially important to increase one's intake of vitamin C when sick. Fortunately, you can improve your immune system's function by supplementation with high doses of vitamin C. And I'll go into what I recommend from my research. Now, for example, natural killer cells are classed as the hitmen of the immune system. They'll move in on infectious and malignant targets like other immune cells, but natural killer cells' function will decline with age, like most things do, unfortunately. Detailed scientific studies show that natural killer cell function improves in the presence of vitamin C and declines without it. So vitamin C helps natural killer cells track and destroy tumor cells. Now, vitamin C, especially in large amounts, is one of the most effective, natural, non-toxic ways to prevent and treat many kinds of cancers. Eating a vitamin C rich diet, for example, substantially reduces the risk of many cancers. And I intakes about 5,000 milligrams a day, the equivalent of 100 oranges. And that's if those oranges do contain vitamin C, because many don't today because of the way they're formed, substantially increases the life expectancy of cancer patients. Now, the overwhelming evidence is that high intake of vitamin C correlates with a low risk of cancer. Now, in 1991, Dr. Gladys Block, formerly with the National Cancer Institute, she published a review of vitamin C research which concluded that there was a very strong evidence of a protective effect of vitamin C for non-hormonal cancers. Now, of the 46 such studies in which a dietary vitamin C index was calculated, 33 of those found statistically significant protection. And after completing a further review in 1991, Dr. Block published a review later that year of studies linking vitamin C with cancer prevention. And she goes on and concluded approximately 90 studies have examined the role of vitamin C rich foods in cancer prevention, and the vast majority have found statistically significant protective effects. Evidence is strong for cancers of the esophagus, oral cavity, stomach, and pancreas. There's also substantial evidence of a protective effect in cancers of the cervix, rectum, and breast, and also even in lung cancer, there's also evidence for a role for vitamin C. Now, new research then show that insufficient levels of vitamin C, which I test all the time on the lab work I do, which I see in many, many people, it also makes you more susceptible to leukemia. The good news is boosting your dietary intake of the nutrient can help prevent it. No money in prevention, unfortunately. Plus, this type of strategy offers no negative side effects and the cost is minimum. Now, how vitamin C puts the brakes on leukemia, this is amazing. In a study conducted at University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center and published in a peer-reviewed scientific journal, Nature, researchers found that vitamin C actually helped to slow the development of leukemia by reactivating an enzyme that actually stops leukemia cells from growing and spreading. Now, the new research helps to reveal the nuts and bolts of the way vitamin C or ascorbic acid assists the function of stem cells, which need large amounts of this nutrient to function properly. Now, the researchers reported that when stem cells are depleted of vitamin C, their epigenome, the cellular system that controls which genes are turned off or on, is damaged, thereby impairing stem cell function. And also that raises the risk then of leukemia. Vitamin C feeds the stem cells to suppress the development of leukemia. And one research group, they found, and it also helps to communicate with faulty stem cells in the bone marrow and stops them also from developing and causing blood cancers. Now, stem cells need large amounts of vitamin C in order to function healthily, which could explain why it is that cancer victims often low in the vitamin C researchers from the UT Southwestern Medical Center. Stem cells that regulate blood in the bone marrow also then become damaged if they do not have enough vitamin C, which in turn increases the risk of leukemia. And researchers then from New York University School of Medicine, they've also found that they've been working on the role that the vitamin plays in feeding the stem cells in bone marrow. They discovered the vitamin specific role is as a communication medium that gets the message to faulty cells in particular to mature and die. But without adequate amounts of vitamin C, the cells develop until they eventually cause blood cancers. I mean, isn't this incredible information? So vitamin C and stem cells then, and cancer stem cells I should say, unfortunately cancer stem cells are exceedingly hard to kill through conventional therapies. They are highly resistant to standard chemotherapy and radiotherapy, while being essential for tumor metastasis, the spread of the cancer. Cancer stem cells are a uniquely important part of the cancer process. Scientists at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, Ohio, they summed up the centrality of cancer stem cells by calling them the roots of the cancer. They're the seeds of metastasis, the spread, and the source of therapy resistance. Now, hold on to your seat. In a groundbreaking research, vitamin C showed its ability to target cancer stem cells, stop their growth, preventing the reoccurrence of tumors. In a study conducted at the University of Salford in Manchester, vitamin C demonstrated its power to stop tumors in their tracks by interfering with cancer stem cell metabolism, suppressing their ability to process energy for survival and growth. And cancer stem cells are responsible for triggering tumor reoccurrence and promoting their growth and the metastasis, the spread. Now, the study was published in Oncotarget, which is a peer-reviewed journal. So the study was the first to explore the effects of vitamin C on cancer stem cells and provided the first evidence that vitamin C in the form of simple ascorbic acid can target and kill them. And the researchers noted that vitamin C destroyed cancer stem cells by inducing what is known as oxidative stress. Vitamin C used two different mechanisms of action to attack cancer stem cells. It worked as a pro-oxidant in cancer cells, depleting them of the antioxidant glutathione, and then causing oxidative stress and apoptosis, cellular death. It also inhibited glycolysis, which is simply the process that creates energy production in the cell mitochondria. Now, by inhibiting glycolysis, vitamin C now inhibited mitochondrial protein synthesis in cancer stem cells, while leaving healthy cells unaffected. Now, vitamin C also inhibits both tumor growth and cancer spread in the same way an optimum level of vitamin C in the coronary arteries keep the cellular glue, which is known as the ground substance in blood vessels, firm and healthy. It is also responsible for the formation of a strong, supportive extracellular matrix in other tissues throughout the body. A deficiency of vitamin C allows the ground substance or matrix to become weak and watery. When this deficient state becomes continuous, tumor growth now can be initiated and facilitated because the external support grid that would normally restrain cellular proliferation can no longer do so. So when ground substances then lose its firm gelatinous consistency and becomes watery, the door is now open for malignant cells to break through lymphatic and blood vessel walls and migrate to other areas of the body. Isn't that incredible? High dose vitamin C will keep the ground substance strong and provides optimum anti-cancer protection for healthy cells, including those directly adjacent to an already tumor or lesion. As Linus Pauling said, everyone should know that the war on cancer is largely a fraud. Linus Pauling was 2 times Nobel Prize winner and expert in vitamin C, was ridiculed for his research because it challenges big pharma. Vitamin C will cut sepsis death rates by 500%. The vitamin reduces the rate of death fivefold or 500% if it's given as an IV infusion for just 2 days, say researchers from the Eastern Virginia Medical School. Now, medicine doesn't have a good response for sepsis, which kills around 11 million people a year. Now, the average mortality rate, especially in low-income countries, can be up to 60%. The disease causes organ dysfunction, acute kidney injury, and eventually death. But sepsis does not have to be a death sentence. Now, research compared the outcome of 47 sepsis patients who had been treated in the medical school's intensive care unit and 47 other patients who were instead given intravenous vitamin C. Now, just 8.5% of 4 patients died from sepsis having the vitamin C therapy, compared to 40.4% or 19 patients in the group given standard care. The vitamin C group were also given corticosteroids and also the B vitamin thiamine, which is B1. Now, vitamin C then at extremely high doses also acts as an antiviral drug, actually killing viruses. Now, while it does have anti-inflammatory activity, which helps to prevent what is known as a massive cytokine cascade associated with SARS-CoV-19 infection, the antiviral capacity likely has more to do with it being a non-rate limiting free radical scavenger, meaning it can mop up a lot of damage that's being caused by the inflammation. Now, vitamin C then for heart disease, this is also incredible research. For years, scientists have warned us against the dangerous buildup of plaque that can lead to a heart attack or stroke. Now, researchers are investigating the possibilities that vitamin C may play a role in reducing our risk for plaque buildup. In the early stages of what is known as atherosclerosis, which is narrowing of the blood vessel walls, white blood cells called monocytes, they'll migrate and they'll stick to the walls of what is known as the endothelium, the blood vessel walls. Once this process begins, our vessel walls now begin to thicken and they lose their elasticity. This now paves the way for atherosclerosis, and that then is going to become problematic. Interestingly then, British researchers, they studied the effect of vitamin C supplementation, just 250 milligrams a day, which is a small amount, on this adhesion process in 40 healthy adults. Before the study, subjects were low pre-supplementation levels of vitamin C at a 30% greater monocyte adhesion than normal, then simply putting them at a higher risk for atherosclerosis. Impressively, after only 6 weeks of supplementation, the rate of this dangerous monocyte adhesion actually fell by 37%. A large decade-long research then led by Dr. James Engstrom at UCLA, they also found that men who took 800 milligrams of vitamin C per day, which is more than 10 times the RDA in America, 20 times more in the UK, had less heart disease and lived up to 6 years longer than those following the conventional guideline of 60 or 40 to 60 milligrams a day, which is just unbelievably low. Now, the man who discovered the link between vitamin C and heart disease was again Dr. Linus Pauling, who was the only ever man to win the Nobel Prize twice. So hardly no rogue scientist. He recommended high dose of vitamin C per day for the prevention of heart disease. And one of the reasons why is around 60% of vitamin C actually goes to making the collagen for the repair of our arteries. That's the ground substance I mentioned earlier on, and with other cells, without it, they cannot function properly. Now, according to Linus Pauling, heart disease, along with supposed contributors to heart disease such as oxidized cholesterol, is actually an early stage of scurvy, which is a severe deficiency of vitamin C. Now, a lack of vitamin C then actually causes the arteries to become fragile and they rupture. Now, a problem then which the body tries to repair with deposits of cholesterol. Cholesterol is not trying to kill you, it's trying to repair you. Shortfalls of vitamin C can also impair the body's ability to synthesize collagen, which is needed for strong and flexible arteries. Now, this study published in 1997 in the British Medical Journal, they reported that a vitamin C deficiency, as assessed by low plasma ascorbate vitamin C concentration, is a risk factor for coronary artery disease. Now, men who were deficient in vitamin C had 3.5 times more heart attacks than men who were not deficient in vitamin C. And these arterial blockages, and what they'll start and grow with a vitamin C deficiency alone, even in the absence of cholesterol elevation. So serum cholesterol levels increases with a vitamin C deficiency. Excessive cholesterol will deplete vitamin C. Vitamin C supplementation will lower serum cholesterol even when on a high cholesterol diet. And vitamin C supplementation also protects the arteries from this plaque buildup, even in the presence then of this high cholesterol I've just said. These studies then add further proof that vitamin C is essential for maintaining the health of the coronary arteries. Now, the buildup of cholesterol containing plaque is simply part of the body's response to the weakening of the arterial wall, initiated by a lack of vitamin C. In the presence of a continuing deficiency of vitamin C, a progressive arterial breakdown will occur, and this then triggers further formation then of the vessel narrowing plaque. And vitamin C deficiency may also be an independent risk factor for stroke. For example, French researchers, they reported that those with a vitamin C deficiency are at an increased risk for the lethal hemorrhagic stroke. According to the authors, vitamin C deficiency should be considered a risk factor for this severe type of stroke. They also pointed out that previous studies have found that vitamin C may help regulate blood pressure, and that higher blood pressures, blood levels, I should say, of vitamin C have also been found to reduce the risk of stroke by more than 40%. So we're looking at the vitamin C dose now. So there's some conflicting evidence in this, but I'll give you my 2 shillings worth, or 2 pence, wherever you come from. Recommendations that vitamin C starting point for healthy adults is approximately 6,000 milligrams per day, and grows in proportion to our level of toxic exposure and the intensity of challenges in the immune system. So meeting this need solely through food is not possible. Our need for vitamin C also varies greatly, and in a range far above the government RDA of 40 milligrams, or could be higher, whatever country you're in. Now, each person's need for vitamin C differs because of the differences in genetics and also something known as individual biochemistry. Further, our bodies will undergo different stresses, and we certainly eat different foods. Therefore, the daily need for vitamin C to maintain health for an adult varies anywhere between 2,000 and 20,000 milligrams a day. For example, Linus Pauling personally took 18,000 milligrams of vitamin C per day. Although he was often ridiculed for this, it is interesting to note that Dr. Pauling had 2 more Nobel Prizes than any of his critics. And he also died at the age of 93. And there's Dr. Steve Hickey, who's also a world-renowned expert on vitamin C. He goes on to say his minimum and typical daily intake is around 9 grams of vitamin C spread out over the day. But he goes on also to say this can increase 5 to 10-fold if he feels he's coming down with a cold. And to determine your bowel tolerance also of vitamin C, you can start by taking moderate doses of vitamin C, typically between 1,000 and 2,000 milligrams. And then gradually increasing the sort of dosage until you sort of start to experience loose stools. Now, it is important to keep a record of the dosage levels and the corresponding effects on our digestive system. This self-monitoring process actually enables us to pinpoint sort of unique bowel tolerance level of vitamin C, which may differ from one person to another. Now, vitamin C, in my opinion, is best taken on an empty stomach. Always consult with your healthcare sort of provider before you change your diet or you start taking supplementation. Okay, and I hope you sort of got something out of this sort of video on the incredible benefits of vitamin C. Remember, this is not medical advice, it's simply my research. Okay, catch you for the next YouTube video, guys.